Hello, hello. Get this moved around a little bit. My office is a disaster today. There's stuff everywhere. I guess that happens, right? Move that back a little bit. That's pretty good. Can you see me okay? Everything good? I see one person is here. I don't know who that one person is, but hello. Happy Tuesday. I hope you're having a great day so far. Halfway through, if you're working. So, whew. So I have been working on getting orders packaged up today. Hi, Nancy. Somebody, and actually, let's see. Hi there, Terry. Happy Tuesday. Hey, Ellen. See people coming on in. Yes, I'm super excited to share this comfy, cozy new cardigan. This is my newest make. And I'm going to talk about it today because this is going to be my next cardigan pattern. So really excited about it. I have my Christmas music going. It's the jazz Christmas. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it in the background. I try to keep it low because I get really distracted. Let's see. So somebody was in a Facebook group. Now I'm only in, I think, 2 or 3 Facebook groups for crocheters. I try not to overload myself because I feel like I need to be active in the groups. Sneaky studying the collar on that sweater. Yes, it's a fun one. But someone shared my Etsy shop in a crochet group on Facebook that I am not in, which is great. Like that, she came to me and she's like, I got to share it. I was really excited. But it got crazy last night. I'm almost sold out of enamel pins. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen my my hooker pin. It's the only enamel pin that I've ever purchased. See if it'll actually focus in on it. Maybe hide me. It doesn't want to focus. Focus. Well, you can kind of see what's happening there. But that's my original hooker tarot card design. It's the only enamel pin I've ever printed. I think the next one on the list will probably be either the knitter or the F off I'm crocheting design on a pin. But I kind of needed to see if they'd sell. And they've sold. So they almost all sold because this person shared it in a Facebook group, and I have a lot of orders to work on today. I try not to wait too long to get orders out. I think I put my processing time is like 1 to 2 days in my Etsy shop. But that means that like I have a lot of work to do over the next couple of days. And I had someone contact me. Ellen says F off, definitely. Yeah, I think that probably has to be the next one, since I really am more on the crochet side than on the knitting side. I think it's important to prioritize the crochet items and still have knitting items available because I've really loved creating those too. But and yes, lots of orders is a good thing. It just gets overwhelming because there's other things, that I have to do. And I try to write handmade notes. So like every order that I send out, if you guys have ordered from me, I do like a handwritten note, and then I will package up whatever it is. This was a pin, and then I have to package it up in the little bubble mailer and put the label on there. I do have to say, buying a thermal printer, best decision I ever made for the business, because it prints the little sticky labels, and there's no ink, there's no toner. I don't really know how it works. It's thermal, so I guess thermal technology. But I've been buying those, and you can buy the label sheets in these big packs, and it's pretty, it's very affordable compared to running a full-size printer. And then, I used to have to print off the label, cut it out, duct tape it onto whatever it is that I was sending out the door. And it just took so much time. So the thermal printer has changed the game. It has helped me, especially on days like this where I have a lot of orders going out and I can just click, click, click and pulling that out of there. No, I don't ever want to lose the personal touch. I feel like that's why a lot of people come to Etsy. They want that connection with it being a small business. And that's what I want to be able to provide. Now, I did stop hand lettering my envelopes. So, as you guys can see, these are the envelopes that I buy for stickers. So they're like light pink. And I used to write out the return address and the address that it was shipping to and use stamps until Etsy allowed me to start printing off letter labels. So it's not just a stamp, it's actually like a label that I stick on the front of this. So that's taken away a little bit of that, but it has saved me not having to handwrite addresses on envelopes, but I still have my handwritten letter inside with the sticker. So I don't feel like I'm losing out too much by having something stuck on the front of the envelope. And I may be able to get more fun colors on my envelopes because I'm sticking a sticker on it. So I could do like neon colors, whereas before I wanted to use colorful Sharpies to write out the address and had to be careful because if I used a neon envelope, not all the colors would show up. I think we have what is that? I think we might have a shipment. Oh yeah, FedEx is here. FedEx. So I decided that it's the end of the year, so it's time for me to go crazy and buy a whole bunch of stuff for next year. Because, tax season, and it's time for me to buy all the things that I need for the business this month so that they can be included in my taxes this year as business expenses. So stuff like bubble mailers, tissue paper, envelopes, more stickers, more pins. What else? Yarn. I got some more yarn for my projects. I got some organizational tools for my office. Like I got to go crazy and it was really exciting because it's like, oh, I get to just buy a whole bunch of stuff. So Pink Sheep gets to be in the red this month, but it's for a good reason. And, being able to use up the money that I spent on some of the materials that we're going to need for the coming year. So excited about that. But that's one of the deliveries that's coming today, I think. We order a lot of stuff on Amazon, and Amazon trucks aren't out here where we are. So we get all of our Amazon stuff delivered via FedEx, USPS, UPS, contractors that drive up in like a random, Honda Accord, so it's a little more difficult. We got pretty spoiled being in Atlanta and getting all of our Amazon purchases very, very quickly because we had, the Amazon vans that delivered regularly. So it's a little different here. But I pay for Prime. I use Prime Video all the time. I use Prime Music. So I was like, it takes a little bit longer and it's a little crazy, but it's still worth it because they have everything I need and I'm so used to ordering from them. I don't want to have to try to find a whole bunch of different places, to purchase all the different things. So, okay, well, let me show you guys this cardigan. All right. So this is the newest cardigan that I've made. It is just a border attached this way, a nice long border that was flipped over. I did a whole bunch of increases around the collar here so that it would fold over nicely. I might have been able to do more, but I think this was good. But you can see this is a mixture of, it's single crochet, but every other row, like one row will be single crochet into the back loop. The next row is single crochet in the front loop, single crochet back loop, single crochet front loop, and it creates this nice kind of ribbing effect, whereas the back looks a little different. So you actually create it like this, and then you flip the whole thing inside out so that this can be on the outside. And then I just used, these sleeves are pretty similar to the Tonks hoodie. Terry said it's actually looks suspicious if it's personally addressed on envelopes. That's really funny. And it's good to know because, like I said, I used to do that, and now, I really can't. So, that's a good thing, I guess. But yeah, these are like the Tonks hoodie sleeves. I made them a little bit shorter because I always tend to make them too long, and I like to roll my sleeves up. So I actually made them shorter so I don't have to roll my sleeves up, but they're still comfortable. And then these can double as pockets, which was a happy accident. I wasn't going to do that originally. Originally, I was just going to have it fold over and be open right here, but then it looked kind of wonky. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe if I pin it, but then once I pinned it, I was like, I might as well just sew this together. And then it was big enough to make pockets. And you could even extend the border a little bit if you wanted to, so that the pockets are a little deeper. I don't think that'd be an issue to add 1 or 2 more rows to that border. And then I have the little single crochet border along the bottom just to kind of tie everything together. That was before I sewed this together because the bottom of this border actually sews onto this bottom single crochet border. This is worked in 3 pieces, 3 panels. So you work your back panel, then you work your front panels, these panels, and then you sew up. You do have to use mattress stitch to sew up the shoulder and sew up the side. But then the sleeves are worked off the body and the border is worked off the body. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with it. It's super, super cozy. I had been wanting to play around with some patterns that used larger hooks because most of the cardigans that I've been designing use about a 15mm hook for the cardigans, for the Tonks hoodie, for the Luna, for the Trelawney. All of those call for either a 15 or 16. So I've been wanting to play around with some designs that use some bigger hooks. So like the 18 to 25mm range. I do have a vest that I made with a 25mm, and that is the Myrtle vest. And I don't know if that one is out anywhere. Let's see. I'm looking. Sorry, y'all. Let's see. Oh yeah, I think it's in here. I thought it was. Maybe it's not. I don't know where I put it. I have a vest that uses a 25mm hook, but I don't know where I put it. That's actually one of the things that I ordered. I ordered organizational bins. They're like cloth stacking bins that open on the front. And they are going to store my finished projects. Because I have so many finished projects and they're kind of wonky to store because they are so big that I could only maybe fit 2 cardigans in one of these little squares back here, which that takes up too much room. Like I want to try to keep those for a yarn. So I think that these bins are going to be helpful. We'll see. And I'm interested to see, because something just shipped, I'm wondering if it was those boxes, because if it is those boxes, then I can show them to you. But I don't want to take y'all downstairs if it's not those. So I'm going to check real quick. Let's see. No, I don't think it is. I think it was boxes for shipping, because I think these shipped UPS. Let's look. Who shipped these? UPS. Yeah, so those are coming tomorrow. The FedEx delivered some packaging boxes. So I use like the oyster, I guess they're called the oyster type, the clamshell type boxes. So they show up in like these big pallets of boxes like this. But I feel like they're really good quality. So it's been very rare that things have broken when I've shipped them out, because I feel like these boxes are really nice to have them in all different sizes for, different types of orders. So those have been super helpful. But I'm really excited about those cloth bins because they're going to fit my closet that's in the office, which will be super helpful to give me a little bit of extra space to get some of my finished projects off of this bookshelf back here and get them into the closet, and make it a little bit easier for me to access them and know where all of the finished products are, because I don't sell any of my finished products either. Not like my wearables that I create for cardigans. I really haven't had interest in it. I think if people were asking me to buy them, then maybe I would sell them, but nobody does. So I'm like, I'm just going to keep them. Thank you so much, Lydia. So it's a beautiful job. And like I said, I've been wanting to use some super, super chunky yarn. And I totally lost my train of thought. This is 2 strands of super bulky yarn. It's blanket yarn, so just Bernat blanket yarn. But it's 2 strands held together, which is what makes it so super chunky. And I used a 20 millimeter hook. So super excited to finally have a cardigan that is in that larger hook size range. So it'll use, for me, I used a 20. Some people have to size down for my cardigan because I crochet tightly. So I think a lot of people will end up sizing down when they test. So it'll be a nice size range because we sell everything from 15 to 20, so you could size all the way down to a 15 if you had to. I don't think you'll have to for this one. I think you're going to need at least a 17 or an 18 millimeter for this jacket. And really is more of a jacket than a cardigan. So I think I was going to name it the Winky cardigan because Winky is the little house elf from Harry Potter that actually didn't make it into the movies. And so I think it's going to be the Winky jacket instead of the Winky cardigan. I just hope, I hope that's not like a weird name. I think it's cute. I've been wanting to do one for Winky because I have the Dobby cardigan. So then I'll have the Winky jacket. But I think it's super cute. So I hope you guys like it too. I'm going to be working on writing the pattern up today. So today and tomorrow, I would love to have it ready to do a call for testers tomorrow. I'll need at least probably 6 weeks for people to complete it. It's not going to take very long. I think that this one took me max 3 or 4 days to make it because it works up so fast. You're using a really big hook and really big yarn, so it doesn't take very long at all. But I think 6 weeks is pretty normal for tests these days. And I try to make all of my patterns size inclusive. If you guys didn't know that, all of my patterns are written with instructions for at least 9 sizes from extra, extra small / extra small. So I do mine in like a range all the way to 4X / 5X. That's my size range. It's not made to measure. It is specific instructions for each size. So I think that makes it easier, especially for beginners. Made to measure patterns were always a little intimidating for me as a new crocheter and someone who I just want the pattern to tell me what to do, instead of me having to measure and figure it out. And this will be a little oversized. So this is going to be the probably the extra small / small, but it is pretty wide. So you guys can see if I close this up, I have some space on either side. So it's a pretty wide jacket. It should be fairly easy to add length if you would like it to be longer, because these are worked in rows across this way. So it's very easy to judge. You can just add more rows so that it can be a longer jacket if you want it to be, because these 3 panels, I think I did 20 rows per panel. You could do 25 to 30 rows per panel and then sew them together. The sleeves would be exactly the same, and then your border would just be all the way up. Nancy said she loves the name. Thank you, thank you. And Lydia says she crochets tight as well. Yeah. And I think it's just when you're learning, if nobody says anything, I learned in a high school art class. So I don't think the art teacher cared how tight or loosely you crocheted. She just wanted you to get it, you know? Um, like the jacket versus, because it's like, it's more like a jacket, you know? Lydia, what kind of yarn did you use? So this is Burnout Blanket, and I don't think it's the baby version. And I don't know if you meant to put baby. But these were just like their blanket, variegated blanket yarn. Um, I found this one, I think, at Michael's. I think I found this color at Michael's, and I think I found this color at Walmart. Maybe. I might have ordered this online. I can't remember. I've had it for so long trying to figure out what I wanted to do with it. And then decided to do the jacket. And I was kind of not sure how the colors would work, but I've been trying to just play around with color and go for it, even if I'm not really sure how they'll look together. But I think it looks kind of cool. You know, you got the super colorful and then you got the neutral. So I think it also allows you to wear it with more stuff. So like this tank top was nice with this because it's like the aqua, but I could wear a black or like a gray or, you know, a purple or a blue, you know, any of those colors I think would go really nicely with it. So, but I do think, you know, people ask me a lot what my favorite crocheted project has been. And it's always a really, really tough one because I've had so much fun designing so many different, you know, items, from starting my cardigans to making the cowl, my favorite cowl. I have it in like 6 different colors for myself to wear year round because for me, that's one of my most functional pieces that I love and I wear them all the time, you know. So I would have to say at that point, you know, I guess that's my favorite because I wear them all the time. But I don't feel like that's fair because like the Luna cardigan was such a groundbreaking design for me because it really pushed me into that world of designing clothing. And so it was a really hard question. But I think this is my favorite because I haven't taken this off. I love it so much. It's comfortable, it's soft because it's blanket yarn. It fits really nicely. You know, there are some cardigans. I try to make sure that my cardigans fit in a way where you're not having to adjust them all the time. You know, I've created cardigans from other people's patterns where I don't feel like they're very functional. You know, they might fall off your shoulders, or, you know, they just don't stay put. This one really feels like it's just stays where I put it, you know, and that it's going to be one that I'm really going to want to wear out and be super comfortable with. I can wear a long sleeve underneath it so that the sleeve comes out, and that's kind of cute, I think. Um, but I think this is going to be my favorite make for a while, unless I top it with something else because it's just really, really comfortable. Um, so I hope you guys love it too. I can't wait to get it out there and get it going. Be sure to be on the lookout. I will do my tester call in on Instagram. So if you're not on Instagram or you're concerned about, you know, whether or not you'll see it, you can turn on notifications on my Instagram for a limited amount of time. You can always turn them off, but if you want to turn them on, because I'm probably going to be posting about it at least within the next couple of days, if you're interested in testing, because I'll need testers for all the sizes. Kind of looks like a built-in scarf. It does, and that's part of what's so comfortable. You know, usually if I make cardigans that have any wool content, which is most of my stuff because I use Woolies Thick and Quick, it's because it's such an easy yarn to work with and an easy yarn to find. It's usually what I'll tell people to use for my designs. And I apologize if my phone is going in and out of focus. It tends to not want to stay focused on me on here. What was I going to say? I just lost it. See, I get so distracted. Oh, anything with wool, if the neck is on my neck, I just can't wear it all day. You know, I can wear it for a couple of hours or I can wear it outside. If it's really cold, it's usually fine. I don't think about it. But if I'm inside and I have even 20% wool directly on my skin, it may take an hour or two, but I'm going to start to get a little itchy. you know, so that's why I love this one so much, because I feel like the blanket yarn is going to hold up really well. I feel like some acrylic yarn, like Hometown USA, it's great, but it doesn't age very well. And it tends, when it stretches out, you can really see the holes start to open up. I'm interested to see how this ages. I feel like because the blanket yarn is so light, it's not gonna stretch as much. And I feel like it kept this jacket from weighing like 1,000,000 pounds when I got done with it, because the yarn is light enough that even though I double stranded it, it wasn't crazy heavy. So that's kind of cool. I did see someone, Lydia asked me what days I go on live chat. I come on YouTube on Tuesdays at 12 p.m. Central Time, which is my time today. So that's every Tuesday, 12 p.m. Central Time. I'll hop on here for about an hour just to chat with you guys and give you updates on what's happening, new patterns, new designs, new yarn, whatever you guys want to talk about. I try to leave that door open, so if there's things that you guys want to ask questions about, or you know, want me to talk about, I can do that. Hello, Sandra. But yeah, so that's, and then I do lives on Facebook, Instagram. I do live streams on Instagram on Fridays at 12 p.m. Central Time. So always at 12 p.m. Central Time, but Tuesdays on YouTube, Fridays on Instagram. And then if you're not on Instagram, I do upload my Instagram lives to YouTube. So when I get done and I download it, I will upload those here. So if you know, you can still watch them, you can watch them as the replay if you want to. Okay. Let's see. All right. So my next exciting thing, I told you guys that I have been trying to buy a whole bunch of stuff now that it's the end of the year to prepare for next year, go ahead and get some of my material purchases out of the way. And as soon as I finished this jacket, I knew that I really wanted to try to use some jumbo yarn. So I guess it goes bulky, which is 5, bulky or chunky. Size 6 is super bulky or super chunky, depending on where you are and you know, the website. I think it might be a UK versus US possibly, but super bulky and super chunky is size 6. And then jumbo yarn is size 7 and up. So I decided after making this, because if you look at the yarn sizing charts, if you don't have the yarn that is called for, you can go down a size and double it up. So let's say like a 4 weight and a 4 weight equal a 5 weight. A 5 weight and a 5 weight equal a 6 weight. A 6 weight and a 6 weight equal a 7 weight. And it depends on, you know, the yarn. But that's kind of the general rule. And so I decided, okay, if I did 2 size 6 pieces held together, then I have to try a 7. So I bought a whole bunch of yarn at Walmart yesterday, I think. And it's size 7, and it's a Chanel style yarn. So I'm really excited to try it. I think it'll end up being a really simple cardigan. I don't think I'm going to do a neck like this. I think it's going to be very similar to this jacket. Maybe this jacket without this fold over piece, because I don't know just how fluffy it's going to be, but maybe adding pockets, like actual pockets. I don't know yet, but I'm going to show you the yarn. Okay. I had to buy a bunch because it only has like 30 yards on each skein. Oh, okay. Wowzers, never even held jumbo. Yes, I haven't bought it either. I have never bought jumbo yarn. I have Lion Brand made a yarn called Totally Tubular. I think it was totally, it might have just been tubular. But it was a size 7, supposedly. But to me, it just seems like a big size 6. I wouldn't consider it a 7. I don't think it's big enough compared to the 6s that I have to be considered a 7. But this is what I bought at Walmart. Mainstays Chanel Chunky Yarn. And I got this pretty teal and this pretty aqua color. They only had 2 of the aqua, sadly, so this will just have to kind of be trim and embellishments. And this will be the majority of the jacket in this teal, because the only other colors they had were like gray and white and like this kind of pale pink. And you know, I'm all about bright colors, so I had to get the bright colors, the brightest colors that they had, which was more like this kind of teal color, which I think is really pretty. I'm excited. But yeah, this is a size 7. Oh, it says it's a size 6. There's no way. This is not a size 6. Y'all see how big this is? Look how crazy that is. Yeah. I would never have called this a size 6. I'm going to say this is a size 7. It says 6. Nah. This is really soft, very soft. So I feel like it's going to be a lot like this, where I'm going to be really comfortable wearing it. So Kim, I did check online because I added the link to this yarn in the description, but Walmart has a couple of different listings for this yarn. So different listings have different color availabilities, but none of them are bright. So I could have gotten more of this, I think, online. This one was online. They had a dark maroon online, the pale pink. They have some shimmer colors, but it's like light blue, cream, and gray in the shimmer. But they didn't have any other colors that I was like, oh man, I wish they'd had that in store. So I feel like I did good just being able to get them here, and I really didn't want to wait for them. That was one. I just wanted to be able to get it all. I only got 12 balls of yarn. Let's see. Is it stretchy? It is not stretchy. It is very much like blanket yarn. So it's got the inner cord, and then this is around the cord. The fluff is around the cord. So I'll be using a 20mm hook with this. And I'll show you guys the hook that I was using. Let's see. At least I thought I would show you the hook I was using. Let's see. These are all of my 19 to 25s. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I think I only have one 20mm in stock. I have two 20mm in stock. I have this one this is the one that I used. It's just our mint green hook that I used for this one. So I used the mint green for this. And then I have a hot pink. So these are the two that I have. But like I said, I feel like with this one, you could use anything from an 18 to a 20. I think any of that size range would work just fine. I think, you know, obviously you'll want to check your gauge, but I think that that would be a safe bet from an 18 to a 20, depending on if you know that you crochet more tightly or more loosely. But like I said, really, really excited about this one and to release my first cardigan using such a large hook. Let's see. And Terry asked if it was heavy. I'm not sure if you meant the jacket that I have on or the yarn that I purchased. They're both very light. So this one, it's heavy because it's heavier because there is, you know, weight to it. It's a big jacket. It used two strands of the size 6 yarn, but this would be probably the lightest jacket that I've made using this amount of yarn, because the blanket yarn is so much lighter already than like the Woolies Thick and Quick, or like this one. This is Mandala Thick and Quick by Lion Brand. So I'm excited because it's like the best of both worlds. I can use my super chunky stuff and it not be extremely heavy. Terry says, I hold my hook like a pencil, wondering how I would do with your hooks. So I do have some pencil grip holders who purchase my hooks pretty regularly. Honestly, I think that pencil grip with larger hooks is going to be tough no matter what hook you buy, because you're having to hold such a big hook. I mean, in general, so if you buy a 20 millimeter hook from anywhere, you're going to have the same issue that you'd have with mine, because it's just, you can't really do an ergonomic handle on a hook that large, because if you extend it to make it, like a teardrop shape, like I do with my smaller hooks, it ends up being almost too big, and then it can be painful. So for me, if my ergonomic grip is too wide, it causes me pain just as it would if there was no ergonomic handle. So with this one, like I said, if you hold like a pencil, you're going to have the same problem that you'd have with any other 20 millimeter that you buy. The good thing about these hooks is that I keep them really light. So, if you buy a heavier hook that you're holding like a pencil, your fingers are going to get worn out trying to hold them. And I keep them shorter. So that also helps with the weight, because some of those hooks that you buy at other stores, once you get this, you're going to end up with it being like this long. So I'll give you guys an example. So this is my little hook collection, or my larger hooks. The only 20 millimeter. This is a 20 millimeter from Furls. So this is the Furls. Oh, I can't even fit that on the screen. That's the Furls 20 millimeter hook. This is our 20 millimeter hook. So you see, huge difference, because if you're a pencil grip holder and you've got all this weight back here, like, I don't feel like that's helpful, having additional weight back here and throwing off the weight of that. And then the weight difference, I can actually measure it really quick. Let's do ounces. Got my scale over here. I'm just going to put it over here. All right. So we're going to do ounces. So this big boy, if it'll stay on here, is 2.5 ounces. 2.5 ounces. Ours is 1.3 ounces. So ours is half, about half of this one. So that's the difference if you're going to go buy it somewhere else. Now, you may find one like this. This is a 16, I think. I think it's either a 16 or an 18, this one. You can find these out, which these are also very light. So these might be helpful if you find them. They're just cheaper, so if you just want to try something for the first time, then this is probably the route to go, because you're not having to spend a lot of money. Our hooks are $45. That's an investment. If you decide you really love super chunky yarn, then that's the way to go, because they're fun and colorful. And, if you're taking pictures of them, it's a whole experience with these hooks. But if you're just trying things out for the first time, most of the time, if you go to Walmart or Joann's or Michael's or any of those places, you can find like a 16 or like a 15.75. And you can usually find like an 18 or a 20 that's plastic. And that's going to be the way you're going to want to go, because if you start getting like the wooden hooks, unless you can find bamboo, sometimes the bamboo hooks are lighter. But let's see. Like, look at this monster. This is 25. This is a 25 millimeter that I purchased from Michael's. And it will kill your hand. This thing weighs, that was still on. I could have just left it on there. Let's see. This one weighs 2.7 ounces. So it's not much heavier than this one, but that's a lot when you can cut that in half. Let's see, what did I say that was? 2.7. And our 25s, let me get a 25. This is one of our 25s. And again, the length difference is a little crazy lengthwise. I just wanted something that fit in my hand, and I didn't have to worry about having all of the extra length. So ours, 1.8 ounces for ours. So that was my goal, to make it easier on our hands because they're lighter hooks. And some people like the heaviness. I don't mind having a heavier hook when it's a small hook. So like the Furls Odyssey, I actually kind of like those. I use the 5.5 millimeter when I'm doing crop tops and stuff. And I have the Furls Odyssey, the metal ones. And I actually like that extra weight when it's a small hook. But as the hooks get larger, you have so much stress on your hand trying to use something that's heavy when your project is heavy as well, And then you guys may have seen, this is the 25 millimeter from the Hook Nook. And this one I think is the heaviest hook I've ever purchased. Let's see. Yeah, it's 4.1 ounces. This thing's a monster, and I couldn't use it. I wanted to love it so bad because it's pink, and it's it's pink. So I was like, I have to get it, but nope, couldn't use it. It hurt my hand too much. Terry, I have the 11 from the Christmas box. So that's the 17. So the Christmas box got a 17 millimeter. And I'm going to go through the Christmas box, I think, on the next one. I'm actually going to open and go through it for anyone who kind of would like to see what goes into our mystery boxes. Next week, I'm going to do kind of an opening of those boxes so you guys can see if you're interested, because we're going to do another mystery box for St. Patrick's Day. That's going to be the next mystery box. So super excited. They've been so much fun to put together, and everybody so far has given us great feedback. So we're really excited to do that again, in just a couple months. So let's see. My thumb carries the weight and it gets sore. Holy crap, those monster hooks. Yeah, I'm usually a pencil grip. This is Syndra, but I find that if I'm using bigger yarn, my grip goes back and forth from pencil to knife. And I have heard that it is easier to experiment with knife grip if you're using bigger hooks. So it's a great way to practice knife grip, which you can go back and forth, but it may be worth giving it a try. I started practicing pencil grip. I hold with a knife grip all the time, but I started practicing with pencil grip just to give myself the option, because if I started to get fatigued or my hand started to feel like it was, just going through kind of that overuse stress, I could switch to pencil grip and I could crochet a little bit longer. Now I was slower with pencil grip, but at least I didn't have to stop crocheting altogether, for a while. So yeah, I think it's helpful if you want to try. If you're having trouble holding these with pencil, you can always try knife grip. Since it is a bigger hook, I think it'll be easier, to give that technique a try. Oh, I feel like I talked a mile a minute today. That's like writing left-handed when I go knife grip. Yeah. I had a reel on Instagram that actually did really, really well. I got a lot of views, and it was literally just me switching between knife grip and pencil grip. And I asked, in the comments what people chose. But I thought that was really interesting that one did so well. I think that it is interesting to watch people's crochet technique, and watch people, doing the different grips. I'm interested if anyone else does jump between them. Let me know if you do both. Terry says, I want your mug. So this mug, it says no pants, no problem. That was for a conference. This says Imaging USA. When I worked for Professional Photographers of America, PPA for short, that's what I usually refer to it as. They had a conference every year, this big photography conference that it was really, really fun. It was like 10,000 people that would go to this conference. And I only got to go to one in person while I was managing their social media, because the next year was COVID. And so we had to do an online conference. And that was the slogan, was no pants, no problem. And so I got this mug from like the online store. And then I added my stickers. So I've got my Think Yarny Thought sticker. And if any of you guys have wondered, the stickers that I sell, I get them from Sticker Mule, which is fantastic company. I recommend them hands down if you're selling stickers because the quality is so good. I always get people complimenting the quality because they last. So if you've ever wondered about how they last on stuff, I wash this mug at least every other day by hand, you know. But I have these two stickers that I put on here. So this is my hooked sticker and the Think Yarny Thought sticker. Both of them are clear backed. But I wash them, like I said, I mean, multiple times a week. And I've had the stickers on here for a couple of months. So they last really well if you want to stick them on tumblers or mugs or things that you know, use a lot. Yeah, and I don't know how to block people. Yeah. That is not appropriate. Not even close. Let's see. Yeah, if anyone knows how to do that, I need to figure out how to block people. Click their name. Let's see. Oh, I can't on here. I can't click their name on here. I'm on my phone, so I think that's probably why. Terry, it does feel weird, but I have found that, like Evelyn said, when your hand or wrist gets tired, it does help to change your grip. Yep. I was able to block on mine. Oh, thank you. Yeah, if you guys can do that, that would be great. And I'm wondering if I look, because my computer's right here, so I may be able to, let's see. Oh, so someone's upset with me because I don't know how to block it. I'm still new to YouTube. You have to start somewhere. I'm to hear it. Well, you didn't hear it. That's not something I would have on my channel. Let's see. I'm gonna check this out. Let's see. Remove. Okay, here we go. Well, I hope you don't report me. That's yeah. Let's see. Okay, so I can hide messages. Figured that out. It's a learning experience, isn't it? Okay. Oh, there we go. There we go. All right, thanks for hanging in here with me, guys. I got to figure this out on the fly. Okay. That's why a lot of big YouTubers have moderators. Yeah, and as I mean, I have 8 people on here, so I guess I didn't feel like I was a big YouTuber. But that's okay. I figured it out. I can have it pulled up on my computer at the same time and report and delete. There we go, guys. So I'm sorry about that. Thank you all for hanging in there with me while we figured that out. Okay, well, let me know what you guys are working on today, because we are getting towards the end of the session. I didn't have anything to work on today. Oh, yes, actually, I have one more thing I wanted to share with you guys. Okay, so I decided, if you guys have followed a lot of my patterns in the past, you will know that I use a lot of half double crochet. That's my favorite stitch. It always has been. The majority of this jacket, the panels are half double, the sleeves are half double crochet, and then these are single crochet. The other one needs to be, yes, so I think I blocked everybody, by the way. Syndra, just so you know. Let's see. I think I reported everyone and I made it so that I turned off the, like it blocks all their comments. I don't know if there's anything else I can do. I hit all the buttons that were available. But yeah, so I decided it was time for me to branch out. I have been seeing a lot of people using slip stitch as the technique for entire pieces, which I think is really, really cool because I know how to do a slip stitch, but I've only ever used it to like connect things in the round. So like if I'm making hats, if I'm making scarves and things, I'll use those to connect the rounds, but I've never used it as a technique for an actual, to make actual large pieces of fabric for cardigans or anything like that. So, yes. So I purchased a pattern. I put the link in the description. This is a cardigan pattern that uses slip stitch as the main technique for the entire cardigan. So I'm really excited and I'm going to show you guys. I used bulky yarn for this one. So it's actually not super bulky. It's bulky. The pattern called for super bulky, but this was a larger size 5. So I think it's going to be fine. And I upped the size of my hook. My Discord group that tests for me. So I have a Discord channel for all of my testers. And they asked me if I met Gage, and I said, I didn't check Gage. So hopefully it still works. And I'll actually show you guys the progress. It might end up a little smaller, but I sized up and I sized up on my hook. So fingers crossed it works. Let's see. Oh, it's down here. Okay, so like I said, the pattern for this is the link to the pattern if you want to purchase the pattern. I'm scratching my head on slip stitch for an entire row. Use a lot of yarn. I don't think it uses a ton of yarn. I mean, it's definitely a thicker fabric that it's creating. So it might use more yarn. This is where I'm at. So I've also never made a yoke style top-down sweater. So I'm learning 2 techniques in one. All right, so I'll show this up close. So you can see this is what it's looking like. Oh, scratching your head on using slip stitch for an entire row. Yeah, so this is all slip stitch. Now, this is slip stitch in the front loop only. So you do your slip stitches and then on the next row, you do slip stitches, but you only go into the front loop. And then this is the other side. So very similar on the other side, but there is a lot of stretch, which is pretty cool because when you think slip stitch, you don't think stretchy fabric. The collar is also slip stitch in the front loop only. Actually, it looks a little different. Oh yeah, no, it's the same. It's just shorter because I worked the collar. All right, so I'll show you guys what it looks like so far. Because it does fit so far, I think. And I don't use stitch markers much, so this whole thing is a little out of my comfort zone, but that's what I wanted. There we go. Yes, it does fit. Okay. All right. So that's what it looks like so far. You can see I've got the armpits. I'm to the point where I can try it on to make sure that it was going to fit. And I'm pretty sure that I'm going to have enough space. The collar is a little wonky up here, but there's another border that goes down the front. So I'll be interested to see, you know, how that ends up working. You can see the back. So, and the back is poking out. And again, I don't know if that's gonna fix itself because that seems to be poking out a lot. So I don't know if that will change as I get further down. I've never done this. I'm just following the pattern. So it'll be interesting. I don't know. I decided it was time to try to learn some new stuff, but I love how this yarn is working up. I'll show you guys the yarn that I'm using for it. Let's see. Put this one back on. Oh, okay. Okay, so the yarn that I'm using is this Noro, and it is Noro Curion Air. And like I said, it definitely is more of a 5. It doesn't say what it is. It's 100% wool. But I thought this was so pretty, and I bought it for my birthday like a year or two ago, and I never knew what I wanted to make with it. So when I found this pattern and I decided to try it, I figured it was the perfect time to use it. So I'm really excited, and like I said, this is the first pattern. This is the first pattern. If I finish it, it'll be the second finished pattern cardigan that I have made using someone else's pattern. That's it. Like I don't, well, that I've purchased, I guess, because I think I did a free cardigan a while back that was like a little short cropped cardigan that was on someone's website. So it was like a free cardigan pattern on their website. But I think I've only purchased 3 or 4 cardigan patterns in the past, like sweater patterns, and I only finished one of them, and it was a knit pattern. And that was a long time ago. That was like 5 or 6 years ago. But it was time. It was time for me to focus and try something new, learn some new techniques. I really wanted to purchase a pattern. I haven't had the opportunity or the time to really purchase crochet patterns from other designers in order to have like personal projects that weren't, either a gift or, something that I'm designing. So, it's neat. Boy, you'd have a ton to, yeah, it definitely takes a long time, a lot longer. Like I've been working on that upper portion now for, I think 4 days, 4 or 5 days. Which usually my chunky cardigans you can finish in 4 or 5 days. But it's not as bad because I'm actually using a 15 millimeter hook. That's the other crazy thing. If you look at this, would you have guessed that I used a 15 millimeter hook to make that? I wouldn't have. So I used a 12 millimeter on the collar, and I used a 15 millimeter on this part. Yeah. It's crazy. And let's see. I'm pretty sure, let me make sure, because I think I've got a few more minutes on here. So let's see. Did I finish this one? 2, 3, 4. Okay. I'm going to actually do a couple of stitches here so you guys can see just how crazy this is. Another thing that's on my list that I need to purchase, and because I can consider it a business purchase because crochet is what I do now, I want to get a yarn winder and a Swift because I don't have one. I've been working using that hank of the Curion Air. I just like lay it out flat like this, and I slowly unravel it as I do my rows. So I'll usually hold it like this, and I'll just pull apart this piece carefully, get myself some tension, lay that out so it doesn't get tangled, and then I've got my yarn to go here. So a little bit, I think, let's see if I can just move it back so you guys can actually see what's happening before I go. Let's see. Okay, I think you guys can see that now. All right, so this is my 15 millimeter hook, so I promise I wasn't lying. And this is where I'm at, and I'm going to turn my work. You don't do a chain stitch in between each row. You literally turn your work and start your slip stitches again. But I'm just going to do a couple so you can see them. So you guys can see the V's here. I'm only going to work into the front loop. So this is the front to me. I know it looks like the back to you guys, but I'm going to work underneath that first loop. I'm going to yarn over and pull through both to make my first slip stitch. And I'm just going to do a couple. But yeah, this is using a 15 millimeter, and I make sure to run the hook all the way through so that it's hitting the 15 millimeter part. So it's not super tight. I'm not working up here on the incline part of the hook, which can sometimes make your stitches smaller if you're not working all the way through. But yeah, it's just slip stitches all the way across. Y'all should check this pattern out though. If you've never done a yoke style sweater and you want to try, it says it's an advanced pattern. So far, I haven't had any issues. It has been pretty clear to me. But that's it. That's what it looks like. So I'm really excited. I mean, I think it's going to be really cool. And, you know, to have it's fast moving. Yes. And I think because I am using the 15, I'm very comfortable with 15 millimeter. Like that's my favorite hook size. The pattern calls for a super bulky and a size 12 for the body. But since I'm using a bulky, I upped it to a size 15. So like I said, it seems like it fits so far. So I don't think I'm going to have an issue with that. And this is a larger 5 in my opinion. It does get a little bit wider in some areas. Syndra has a Stanwood is what I'm going to go with. So if I get the yarn winder and the Swift, it'll be the Stanwood brand because the Stanwood has the 10 ounce and because all of my stuff is super bulky. I knew I needed the larger winder and I have heard really good things about Stanwood. And I mean, they just have great reviews. And so I think it's worth it. I would save a lot of money going with something that's off brand, but I don't want it to break and then I just have to buy it, the Stanwood anyway. So that's on my list. If I get it, I can't wait to share it here because I'll definitely share it with you guys on the live session. But it's on my list. Yeah. I've never used one, so I would definitely have to demo it. I've never had one. Like I said, it's been on the list, but it hasn't been at the top of the list. And I try to make my purchases slowly. I try to let the business grow, you know, save some money and then make those purchases in the future. You know, I put off buying a thermal printer for forever. And now I wish I hadn't because it has been such a game changer for me. But, you know, you have to take your time. You can't jump the gun. You know, you want to make sure that you're ready to make the larger purchases and make sure that it's, you know, because like I said, that's not a necessity right now. But it would be nice because I've never used one. And to be able to have the larger one, I think would be really fun. And I've always wanted to do like scrap cakes. I've seen a lot of people who make the scrap yarn cakes with different colors that they have left over. And I think that would be really fun. So stuff like that, it would open a lot of doors for making some cool stuff and doing tutorials and having some fun with that. So I'll keep you guys posted if I get those. Next week, I'm going to open a Christmas mystery box. So if you did not get one and you're just interested to see what kind of stuff is in the mystery boxes, I will open one up so you guys can see what we included. And then at the end of January, we'll be opening pre-orders for the St. Patrick's Day mystery boxes. Terry, yes, so they'll use scrap yarn and tie the knots, so like knot all of those pieces together as they go and then wind it into a ball. I've created scrap projects where I just work with the yarn and then I tie it as I go along, but I think it would be so cool to be able to do it all ahead of time, even if I didn't have a project in mind, to go ahead and create the scrap cakes to make scrap projects when I decide what I want to do with them. So I think that would be really cool. But all right, guys, well, it is time to go. And we had a learning experience today with how to block people in the chat, which is exciting that I can do that now. And I will definitely keep my chat pulled up on future videos so that we can squash that quicker. But thank you guys for the support and knowing that that kind of stuff is never going to be tolerated on my channel. Please know that. And I appreciate you guys so much for joining in. And join me next week, same time on YouTube, 12 p.m. Central Time on Tuesdays. Or you can join me this Friday. I'll be going live on my Instagram channel if you want to join in. And all of my links are in the description. So if you want to join my Facebook group, you can join my Facebook group. You can join the newsletter if you want to, get emails and stuff from me. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I'll see you soon. Happy hooking!